Hey traders, in today's video, I'm going to teach you a pretty powerful sort of pattern that forms in the markets and what it means in the markets and why, generally speaking, after this sort of pattern that forms in the markets, we get some really nice moves either way, either up or down, but we generally get very, very nice moves. And I'm going to tell you the reason why that generally happens in the markets and how you can use it for your advantage. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into it right now. This is actually one of the trainings that I've got in my flash sale, guys. So again, the $7 flash sale is actually ending today. If you go to johnsflashsale.com, you can actually grab the $7 flash sale at johnsflashsale.com. This is actually one of the trainings that I teach in there, but I'm actually teaching it again here. But the interesting thing about the stock market is that I've been trading now for 16 years, and over that time, I really have learned some really key things about these markets and the understandings of these markets. And one thing that I really learned is that there is these different phases that the market goes through. We either go through a booming phase, like a really good, like a bull market phase, or a bear market phase, or there's these phases that just where it doesn't do much, right? It just doesn't do much for a while. And this is one of the most powerful patterns that I see that gives you an explosive move when we start to really make some moves out of this here. So what am I talking about here? So if we look at the stock market, okay, so we see sometimes the stock market's going up and it might be going up like that, or we might be stair-stepping up like that. We may be going through a bit of a bear market like that, or we may be stair-stepping like that. But then sometimes what you see in the market is that you see the market just doing this, right? Not doing much, just going sideways, not really doing much. And it just goes sideways and sideways and sideways, and it just doesn't do much. This is what I call an energy building phase. It's such a powerful concept, and once I started really learning this, I started to see these massive moves on the back of these phases. Massive move on the back of these phases. Now, massive move doesn't always happen after these phases. In fact, you can get something like this, and it makes a short-term move, and then boom, dies. Right? There is no certainties in the stock market, right, guys? But I started seeing this pattern again and again and again and again and again in the stock market. I'm like, hang on a minute. This is really interesting here because I'm starting to see that there is these different phases in the markets. And generally speaking, when we start to get this sort of phase through here, especially if it's on a weekly chart, it's been happening for many years, the move is explosive. And I'll share some trades with you that I've done. And I'm actually in a few trades right now with this one pattern that most of the time when they move for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and potentially even thousands of percent in profits with my option trades. I absolutely love trading this pattern. But anyway, so we can see that there's a sideways phase here. So I'll give you an example here on Goldman Sachs. I'm looking at Goldman Sachs here right now, and let me actually just bring it back to just a normal candlestick chart here for a minute, just a blank candlestick chart, and look at this here. Look what's happening here, and it's so important to see. Okay, where are we within the phases, and are we in a sort of energy releasing phase, which is generally what I mean by that is, are we moving up or are we moving down overall? That's the market's actually using a lot of energy, right? It's energy releasing phase. Or is the market just not doing much? It's just sitting there, right? Which is what? Are we in a energy building phase? So this here is an energy building where it's just building energy. And generally after when you build energy, you generally go for a nice move to the upside. Look what happened here on Goldman Sachs here. I'm just talking about Goldman Sachs as an example. Well, look what happened here. We had this sort of sideways movement here for quite some time. This is from June 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty much 6 months. 6 months here. 6 months. 6 months of not doing anything. Not doing anything. And then look what happened. We broke. And then for the last, what's that there? 1, 2, 3 and a bit months, we've gone for a very nice run. Obviously, this has actually happened in a lot of the bank stocks right now. But this is just an example of when the market goes sideways, we generally go for a very, very nice move to the upside. So sometimes it's a really big move and sometimes it's not. I shared with you a trade that I did just recently, which was on AOS. And this is just, it's a beautiful, beautiful trade. Look at this here. What do we have here? We have a market where it's doing nothing. It's actually building energy. And when we broke out, I waited for my entry signal and I got in and I wrote it up and then I got out here, which was my target. And then I got out there. This actually was a recent trade. Again, it's because it was off the back of what? This here, which is an energy building phase. And when you get this energy building phase and then we break out, we're now likely to be starting to release that energy. Now, what the problem with what I've just said there is releasing that energy is that the releasing of the energy within that, it doesn't mean it's going to go up every day. Releasing the energy means overall. So we could go up one day, then we could do this for 2 or 3 days, and then we can go up another day, and then we can have a bit of a pullback, and then we can go like that. What I mean by that is that generally speaking, the overall trajectory is up for a bit of time. As you can see here, once we broke, we took a bit of time, but we generally started to make our way to the upside. So that's what I mean by releasing. We're not doing much, we're going sideways, but then when it breaks, we start to see some very, very nice moves to the upside. Does that make sense? So, like there was also a trade here that I did on JP Morgan. This was actually going back last year, but look at this here on JP Morgan. JP Morgan did the exact same thing here as well. This was last year. And if I bring up look at this here, just not doing much at all. See how we're just in this very big sort of sideways channel. Now, when we get big channels like this, as you can see, just going sideways, that's good. But what's even more powerful is when the market just is in a very, very, very tight sort of small sideways movement. Because either we're going to get something like that or something like that. And the moves can be quite amazing. When we do start to break out, that generally gives us a bit of a move of where we're likely to be. You can see here sideways, higher low, and then the market made a very nice move to the upside. Once we started to get some movement in a direction, and this is what we call an energy. Once again, an energy building phase. And this is the exact same thing, guys, that made me want to get into gold a few years ago. If I go back to the gold chart and I go back to my weekly charts, this is gold, that was silver. This is gold here. One of the reasons why I got into gold many years ago, and I wrote it up to about 1800 or something there, and then I got out with options trade. But it was just the same sort of thing. Look at this here on gold. Now this is a weekly chart. Look at this here. See how it was just doing pretty much that was pretty much it not doing much for so many. What's that there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So it did nothing for about 7 years, guys. 7 years. And what is this here? This is building massive amounts of energy. And now we're still in a very big bull. Now we actually broke, and guess what happened? We overall made some nice moves. All right. See, as you can see, we didn't go straight up, but the overall trajectory right now is then it was going in a very big bull market, and we're still actually in a nice bull market right now. We're just having a very, very big, deep pullback in the markets here. So we're just seeing what's happening through there. And this is where, guys, I'm starting to, when we start to see this thing here, if I bring up some other examples, like if I look at Exxon, this is one that me and my private clients have been looking at as well too. Look at this here. Look at this here. Just what did we get? This is a weekly chart. We got a nothing phase for quite some time. Nothing phase for quite some time. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of not doing much, just going sideways. Once we actually broke out, look at that massive move. It went from 15 up to 65 in a matter of about a 4-week period, and that is that's roughly almost a 300 or 280% rise in about 4 weeks. So you can see these explosive moves. ALT was another one we traded. As you can see here, this was actually a trade that we actually did. But look at this here. Notice how we actually had nothing going on for quite some time. Real small bars. Once we started to break out through here, after just going sideways for, this was over 12 months, then we made a massive move up. This one here made me over 1,000% return. Again, this is going back in 2019 now, but I'm just showing you. APT is another one. They don't happen, and these are weekly chart setups, guys. So the weekly charts just make some amazing moves. So this one here, APT, was also a beautiful. Look at this here. This one here was one of the most amazing trades that I've ever seen, amazing setups I've ever seen. Remember I said before, guys, when you get this here, when you get the sideways movement, but you're getting a very small, tight sideways channel. Look how tight this is. Remember, this is a weekly chart. So this is over 2 years of doing this, and then suddenly we get this breakout. What does that mean? That means we're about to make some serious moves, or we have a very good chance of making some serious moves. And look what happened. Look where it went to. Like it actually popped up a little bit. It actually had a bit of a. We actually you had to be patient with this one. It didn't go straight away. It doesn't happen straight away. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But you can see here it broke up. It pulled back for a few weeks, and then it went from $6 all the way up to the almost $42 mark. Now that is a 650% increase spike in that there. Could you imagine what that does for your options? Oh my goodness, that's just like insane. Thousands and thousands % return with options. And so it's just absolutely incredible, guys, when you start to get these types of setups. And now the trade's been done and over, you can see it there. And I'm actually in two trades right now with this one exact setup. And guys, again, I'm not going to tell you what those are because I can't tell you what trades I'm actually in right now myself. But when I actually get out of it, I'm happy to tell you what they are. But there's these trades that do come around, guys. Again, I can talk about the AOS trade because that was a nice, beautiful day setup or a daily setup. So we had there. So generally speaking, guys, if we get these setups that happen over, say, a 3 to 6 month time frame, or about a 6 month time frame, you're generally going to get a couple of months at least of a movement to the ups once it actually starts to break out. Now, guys, this also works for the downside as well too. Let me give you some examples here. So let's go through a bearish example here, and this one here was actually in Boeing on the weekly chart. This is actually just a beautiful. Look at this here, just an absolute, just beautiful one. And if you look at this, notice how Boeing was doing what? It was just going sideways overall. Notice, look at this here, just massive, just real sideways, not much going on. It had a little bit of a pop to the upside, and then it broke down, as you can see. But as you can see, we're in this bit of a, really, it was actually that low through there. That was the big low. It's roughly that low through there. And this is high through here. So you can see we had a little pop to the upside, but we actually had almost 2 years worth of sideways. And then we got the breakdown, as you can see, and this is a weekly setup. So with that there, that's telling you, okay, we're probably likely to start to take on some serious movement to the downside now. And look what happened. Just absolutely got hammered from there to there. It dropped almost 70%, and then it started finding a bit of a bottom here. So guys, this also, again, it's such a powerful thing that when you get this, especially like I love trading stocks that have been gone down, have done nothing for many years, and then we start to pick up like that. And so there's many markets out there, guys, that produce this pattern. The good thing I love about this, guys, is that whenever you trade in this sort of pattern, just make sure you put on low risk. You don't, especially trading options, you don't need to put a lot of risk on. Just put on a small percent risk on your account, right? The one thing I love doing is when trading this is that if I put on, say, a 2.5% risk on my account on that there, and the market makes a massive move and the thing goes to 1,000%, or my account's now up 25% with only a 2.5% risk maximum. Makes sense. Now the good thing that I do is I like trading roughly around 5% of my account on these trades, and because I trade in the money options as well too, so I roughly have a 50 or 60%, sometimes a bit more, risk on there. So maybe 2 to 3% risk with that there. But if the market now makes a massive move for 1,000% return, my account's now at 50% return. So I having around 2 to 3% risk on the trade because of the options. But if the market makes a massive move, explosive move, well, guess what? And the option goes to 1,000%. Now my account's gone up by 50%. If the thing goes absolutely just vertical massive move and goes to a 2,000% return, I now made 100% return on my account by taking on the 3% risk. This is how you truly get ahead in the market. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video here, and this is a bit of a training here. Use this, guys. Again, there's no guarantee, so don't just try and go for home runs, because there are going to be trades that, you know, that sort of give you this here. And just like with Boeing, right? There are going to be many trades out there that when the market does this, it breaks out here, it does this here, it does this, and then before you know it, just reverses. There's a bit of a fake out. It happens all the time. So or I shouldn't say it happens all the time, but it definitely does happen. So you want to be careful of that. But the gist of it is that when we do get sideways movements and then a breakout, we generally like to go for a big move. I like the bullish side more right now anyway in these markets. I like the bullish trades more than the bearish trades. There's actually a lot more of them. Again, just like if I go back to Exxon, if I go back to this example here, as you can see with Exxon, what was happening, not much going on. And actually, as you can see, I love these setups. And the market's been thumped for a while, not much going on, and then we get the breakout, and then we get some really nice moves. And guys, there's actually some stocks right now. There's one stock out there right now. I can't tell you what it is. That's actually for my private clients. I keep something for them anyway. That is developing this pattern right now as I speak, and I'm about to get into it. So I'm expecting over the next 6 to 12 months this particular stock to make some really big moves. And then I'm expecting most of the retail, everyone else to jump on it, and then I'll be getting out of that time. So anyway, guys, go do your research, go do analysis, look through all the stocks, see what's happening out there, and back test it, see if you like it or not. And I hope this really helps you out. Speak to you soon, guys.